Hey, welcome to the Morning Mix podcast. We learned this morning many people have been injured while kissing.
Someone's actually popped their eardrum.
Yeah.
Like
it's
what?
Intense. Wow. That's an intense kiss. I don't know that I'm ready for that. We also found out that John Hamm appears in the show Good Omens.
Mm-hmm.
Nikki watched it last night, and he is naked.
He is just a box.
Yes.
Oh,
They had to
man.
use a long lens.
Yes.
To try to get it all. So we posted the photo at 1019 Mix Chicago on Facebook. I encourage you to go check it out there. And then we asked, what's in the box? Wrong answers only.
Oh, and they all were good. And there's a lot of ham bone suggestions.
A lot of ham hock in that thing. Watch out. That and much more right now on the Morning Mix podcast.
The Morning Mix podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. You know, it's easy to get lost as we journey through life, and it's easy to get stuck, to not know which way to go, relationships, careers, life goals. It might feel as if you've lost your way or your purpose. It might even feel like being stuck in quicksand. But talking it over in therapy can be a big help in sorting out the issues. It may help you map out your future and allow you to trust yourself to find your way forward. Thinking of starting therapy? Give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online and very flexible. So much easier to fit into a busy schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. You can even switch therapists at any time at no additional cost. Let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/themorningmix today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/themorningmix. The Morning Mix podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. You know, it's easy to get lost as we journey through life, and it's easy to get stuck, to not know which way to go, relationships, careers, life goals. It might feel as if you've lost your way or your purpose. It might even feel like being stuck in quicksand. But talking it over in therapy can be a big help in sorting out the issues. It may help you map out your future and allow you to trust yourself to find your way forward. Thinking of starting therapy? Give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online and very flexible. So much easier to fit into a busy schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. You can even switch therapists at any time at no additional cost. Let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/themorningmix today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/themorningmix.
You go to college, though, you got to bring all the staples. Kraft Mac and Cheese is doing the Lord's work. This is amazing. For $29.99 right now on Amazon, you can get a 30-pack, count them, 30-pack of Kraft Mac and Cheese Easy Mac cups, including an all-in-one reusable silverware set, all for the low price of $29.99. That's one Easy Mac cup per day for the first 30 days of college. That's awesome. Helping you to ease into the transition of going to college. What is your go-to college staple? Coming in, we've got 815 ramen noodles and cheap beer. Yeah. I think that's a good country song.
Yes.
We're going to play that on the Mixed Music Club.
It probably already is.
Yeah.
One.
Hey, 847. Yes, indeedy. I know this one. I went to Illinois State. The college staple was DP Dough. DP Dough was a calzone spot. And there's a few of them at some of the campuses around all the... Oh, mama. DP Dough was so good.
Yeah, okay.
Because you'd go in there late night with, maybe a couple of pops and you'd go get like some pepperoni. Oh, my goodness. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I want to see if somebody says this one, but if not, then I'll have one to throw in at the end that I think a lot of people probably would be familiar with.
Okay, 847 Totino's Pizza Rolls.
Okay.
312, anything from the vending machine. It was that microwave burrito from a vending machine.
Okay.
Watch out. Watch out. You're going to have a good toilet. What? Vodka and weed, 630. Swanee.
Right.
You don't have to text us, buddy. You can just tell us. 319, my dorm room staple was Mountain Dew.
Oh, I remember that.
My buddies, they survived on Blue Powerade.
Yeah.
That's all they drank was Blue Powerade in college. We'd go to Walmart, and they would get, each of them would buy a 30, pack of Blue Powerade. 847, I had an electric kettle. Warm water, you could use it for all sorts of stuff. Teas, noodles, all of it. Microwave tortilla and cheese roll-ups, with hot sauce packets dumped on top. That was really loud, sorry.
The band got real close to the
band
door.
was like, wait a second, what do you got in there? Sorry. Hormel beanless chili and cheese whiz in the microwave. Wow, a lot of people S in their pants in that dorm room.
Oh, totally.
Can you imagine? 708, I had a tote bag, my go-to college staple. 847 shower shoes. Remember showering in
yeah.
flip-flops? We
Yep.
did.
If you have to shower in a community like down the hall
Yeah.
type shower, you don't want that MRSA.
That's what we had to do, yeah. The flip-flops.
I think it's MRSA.
Whenever you talk about MRSA,
Yeah.
I think about Mensa, and they're
Right.
very
Yeah, they're
different
so
things.
close.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really close, but very far.
Mensa, they probably give them their own bathrooms.
They probably do.
You're too smart to
they've
stand
earned it.
gross.
They've done
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Granola bars, 219.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to have granola bars. Let's see. The cafeteria staple when I was a freshman was their vanilla soft serve ice cream cone along with Rice Krispies. I remember going into the cafeteria and seeing that machine and being like, you are telling me
Yeah.
I can go up to that thing every night?
No, it's crazy.
This is going to be insane.
And you try that first cone, it's
Yes.
always a disaster
Yeah,
because you're
horrible.
like, how much can I get
Yeah,
on
let me
here?
see. And then they're like, you can come back. No. Mm-hmm. And then we also had, our cafeteria had, there was like a pasta area where they would go whip up really good pastas. And then there was the grill. And it was, man, we didn't know what we had, guys.
Yeah, right.
We didn't know what we had. And finally, probably the number one answer, also a lot of them going unused, condoms. Your dorm room staple.
okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you think you're going in. You're like, I'm going to need these, right, guys?
Yeah.
And then by Christmas, it's like, I haven't opened these yet.
Put these back.
Whip, did we hit your staple? What were you thinking of?
No, my staple was a La Bamba burrito.
Oh, my goodness.
Which they had at U of I, and I think they had at not only a bunch of the Big Ten schools, but also a lot of the schools, like I think ISU had a La
We have
Bamba
one.
burrito.
We do, yeah.
Eventually, they put one in Chicago, which I don't believe is there anymore.
Yes.
But that was the best, still the best burrito I ever had in my entire life. And I would go there. I would literally make like a paycheck from my quote radio job
And
in
go right
college
to La Bamba?
of like $12.
Yep.
And I would I would go to the cash the check and bring the entire $12 and get 2 burritos for myself, and it was like such a treat.
Yes.
Yeah.
We got a text from a 708. At Illinois State, we would get burritos as big as your head at La Bamba.
Yep.
Update, they now sell sushi there.
Really? Oh, that
man.
almost feels wrong.
Different vibe.
Yeah.
Much different vibe.
Very
I never
wrong.
understood people that when they're drunk, they want sushi. It just
Yeah.
seems to me to be the worst drunk food. Like,
Yeah.
let me load up on raw fish.
Yeah, that's a tricky one.
That's a scary
You do
one.
that before. The one thing I wrote down, I don't know if you guys remember this, the 4-cup coffee maker. Do you remember that little tiny
yes.
baby? I mean, you think about it, it's kind of stupid, but
Very
like
much.
I remember like going and be like, I want to get the green 4-cup. You know, I'm not really making coffee,
No.
but it was just
Yeah.
it was like you had to buy this, and it's the cutest little coffee maker. It's so silly.
You know what's funny about that coffee maker? I think a coffee maker for me was the thing where it was like, I'm an adult. I have a coffee maker.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it makes 2 cups, 4 cups,
Yeah.
whatever. And I was like,
yeah.
wow, you guys, like, my parents make coffee. Look at us.
We were like
Right.
the sophisticated dorm room.
Yeah,
like, hold
yeah,
on,
yeah.
let me make you a cup of coffee.
Yes.
I want to say, I am surprised at this 610 text. A lot of people calling out Illinois State. I love it. And
Okay.
somebody said Gumby's. Did
Oh,
they have
we had
You have
Gumby's.
Gumby's?
Gumby's pizza, right?
Gumby's
Yes.
pizza,
We
yes.
had that
But they
too.
made
It
those Gumby's garlic sticks, the cheesy sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pokey bread.
Pokey bread.
It was cheap and
The pokey
delicious. I
sticks.
don't know if it was delicious. It was cheap and good.
And good
enough.
It was good enough.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if you ever did it, but we had a family once that ordered this they had one that was like 3 feet wide.
Did you
an
work
order.
there?
No, never worked there.
Oh, I thought you said meant like we had a family that came in and
Oh,
ordered.
no, I'm sorry. A family, like my friend's
Oh,
family
got
was
it.
in town.
Got it.
And you know when like your roommate's family would come to town, maybe the mom and dad would get pizza for all
Yes,
of you?
yes,
Like
yes.
they did that.
Got it.
Oh, it was crazy.
Gumby's.
Gumby's, man.
Yeah, wow.
Gumby's is where the party's at. Gumby's Pokey Sticks.
Did you have Blimpy subs?
Yes.
Blimpy
Blimpy
subs.
subs.
Remember Blimpy?
Yeah.
We had Pancheros as big as your head. That was the
Yeah.
burrito. Everyone has a dorm place
Yeah.
that makes burritos as big as your head.
I'm wearing a pair of Pancheros right now, Nikki. What are the odds? Look at that. This is crazy. Well, this has been fun. I think we should all go back to college.
Yes.
Oh, Swanee's reminding us the show does end at 10. So, okay.
He's heard enough.
From Chicago to your device, this is the Morning Mix Podcast.
Teachers, people are making crazy requests of you, specifically parents. For example, we just got a text from a teacher. I got an email once from a parent asking me to ask their daughter where the dog leash was. Excuse me, could you just interrupt calculus really quick?
Yeah.
Check in with Alyssa and find out where the dog leash is. Thanks much. What? That was like when Nikki's son texted her, Mom, where's the remote control? I've been looking for 3 hours.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm at work, man. I don't know.
Oh,
Keep
my
looking.
goodness. Hey, Alexis, good morning.
Good morning.
Now, I don't want you to reveal too much if you don't want to, but can you at least tell us what grade level you teach?
I teach pre-K.
Okay, pre-K. We just started pre-K a week ago, so I'm in the zone here. What, Alexis, did a parent request of you?
Their student had missed our Christmas play, and so after Christmas break, she had emailed requesting that I put our whole class back together and record the whole Christmas program for her and send it to her.
I love that.
What?
I love that.
Like, hey, can you guys run that back and record it for me? Excuse me?
Yeah,
How do you
she said
respond to
her son
that? Like, hey, that's there's no way. We're moving on.
Yeah, I just quietly ignored that one and pretend I didn't get it.
I love
would
it.
too.
I love it.
Now, Alexis, how long have you taught pre-K?
13 years.
Okay, great. So I've got a 4-year-old. She just started. Is there anything I should be doing at home or anything I should tell her that would help her teach her out? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do I prep her?
Oh, you just play games at home and practice playing with Play-Doh and just being a kind person. That's a good start to pre-K.
Okay, I got the Play-Doh. So, all right. Sounds good. Thank you, Alexis. I really appreciate that. We got a lot of texts coming in from teachers right now. At a conference, I once had parents try and set me up on a date with their cousin.
Okay.
A weird request for a teacher. Hang on a second. I don't know about that.
At a conference.
I don't really. Hang on. Let's see here. We had a parent come into the main office because their son was texting her during the open house. Like he
Okay.
was texting her, hey, come home.
Right.
Mm.
Okay.
A parent brought in bags, candy, and toys for me to make goodie bags to pass out for the birthday. So, like, hey, here's all the stuff. Can you
Yeah.
just put a little bit of each in a bag and give them to the kids? Thanks.
I didn't have time to do it.
Yeah,
so
but-
you can do it for me.
Yeah, what are you doing?
right.
Thanks.
Let's see. I was asked to slowly hit their child with my car so that their child would learn to cross the street and look both ways.
That is
Slowly
not.
This is what it
hit
says.
A child
Stop it.
with
Can
a
you
car.
slowly?
Get
Would you
outta
mind?
here.
Hang on a second.
Did Johnny Knoxville text that?
630. A parent once asked me if I could come to their house on Saturday because they were having trouble getting their kid to listen at home, and they wanted me to help them get him to listen at home.
Yeah, so come on
Can
Saturday.
you swing by?
Sure.
Hang on a second. All right, that's weird. Let's see. Last week, I had a parent ask me that I make their kid stop pooping next to the potty and start pooping in it. Mm-hmm. Like, you're not in charge of aim,
Right? No, that's not the teacher's job.
I had a teacher send me with Tylenol and ask me to give it to the kid every 3 hours.
Yeah, I don't think you're
Again,
supposed
not your
yeah,
thing. I don't
probably,
think
Gotta
they
get a
know.
school nurse for that.
If,
Yeah.
also, if I'm that teacher, I'm like, that's a lot of liability.
Yeah,
I'm not going to. I think I'm moving on from that one. And finally, I had a pre-K parent email me saying, hey, I'm sending my daughter to school with lotion. Please put it on her hands 5 times a day so that she doesn't get dry skin. Thank you.
Okay.
She said, by the way, the class was only half day.
Oh my God.
That's a lot of lotion.
Wow.
That's a lot of moist hands. My goodness.
The Morning Mix Podcast.
High school, I'd broken my nose playing basketball, but then my girlfriend had come over, and I was like, I'm not going to miss this opportunity to get a smooch and look past the swollen face.
Good for
It'll be
her
fine,
too.
you know?
She was
Yeah.
able to look past your
It
swollen
was
face.
good for her.
Oh, boy.
Anyway, we got to smooching, and all of a sudden I felt a dribble, and I was like, what's that? And I left the room quickly to blood pouring out of my nose. And it was all because of that. What can you do,
I also like how you made it a dribble because it was originally a basketball injury.
Come on,
You
this
can't
guy
even help
out
it.
here.
Yeah.
Man, this is crazy. But it's happened to you as well. Hey, Brenda, good morning.
Good morning.
You had a kiss injury? What happened?
I did. I was at a wedding with a date, and we started kissing and on the arm of a couch and thought it would be cool to, fall back, and we did. And then I ended up with my teeth went through my bottom lip on one side, and
Whoa!
I had to go get stitches, so that was a bummer.
That is a bummer.
Brenda, how early into the wedding was this? Was this at the reception, like early or toward the end of the night?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I bet.
Was there an open bar at this wedding?
Yeah, hang on a second.
Probably.
Yeah,
Now,
probably.
did you know this gentleman caller?
I did know him, but that was the last date we went on.
Really?
That was it.
Yeah.
That seems unfair.
Do you still have a scar?
I do.
Yeah, I bet.
do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, watch out. So Brenda's got a little scar tissue
Okay.
left over. I do like that. That's like a real movie moment. Like, oh, we'll just fall into the couch or fall into the bed together. And my
When-
teeth.
When people ask you about the scar, do you tell them the story outright?
Or do you just
Well,
keep
you
that to
can't-
yourself?
No, you can't really see it unless I stretch my lip. I can feel it right now, but yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, are you currently in a relationship?
Well, yes, I'm married.
Okay.
Oh.
Has your partner ever noticed it and been like, "Hey, what's that little lump in there on your lip?"
No.
No. Okay, good. But he knows the
That's why
story.
I'm talking to. No, he does not.
Whoa.
Well, guess who we have online too, Brenda? Oh, I'm just kidding.
I feel like we've bonded so much,
Yeah,
though,
this is
Brenda. Now
amazing.
you've told us something your
Yeah.
intimates don't
Yeah.
even know. Wow.
What other secrets do you want to tell us that he doesn't know? You got an account? You got some money somewhere?
How much time do you have?
Brenda.
Oh, we got to hang on to Brenda's number.
yeah.
Sure.
All right, so Brenda thinks, this will be romantic. We'll tip back into the couch. Hey, Jennifer, good morning.
Morning.
You had a little kissing injury. What happened?
So my partner and I, just getting into smooching and everything, and their nose got caught on my nose ring and ripped my nose ring out of my nose.
Are we talking about a ring or a stud?
No, it's a stud.
Okay.
So their nostril got kind of like caught on it and just pulled it right out. And I was like, oh my God.
Oh,
Was it
wow.
instant blood? Like instant, like you both are like, oh my God. Because the stud
Yeah.
almost seems worse than the ring.
100%.
Right. Yeah, no, there wasn't blood. I mean, nowadays the nose rings, like the inner part that connects, goes onto the little hook. They're made to where it'll just,
Flop out?
come out freely. Yeah. So
Oh.
you're not like, so it didn't like rip, but still
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, what did you
Yeah.
just do?
Now-
You're freaking out.
Were you guys out in public or were you at somebody's place in private?
No, we were at home.
Okay, great. Because I would wonder, you know what I mean? If you're out, we're at Buffalo Wild Wings,
Right, exactly.
the Bears had scored a touchdown.
Oh, interesting.
Throw it out
Now-
some beers and then you rip your nose ring out,
Did they give it back to you? Like, oh, here, sorry, this is yours.
Right. Well, yeah, because it kind of flung. So it was like, all right, we're going to go. We got to find this thing now. What the heck?
Oh, no. And do you have a nose ring now? Did you go back to it?
I do. I put it back in because I like it. So I was like,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
live and learn. Hey,
Yeah,
now
hey.
it's like, all right, let's be careful with the nose.
Right. Beauty's pain. Pain is beauty. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Kind of solved
Yeah.
another mystery, at least for me personally. I always kind of did wonder about the back of a nose
Yeah.
ring because I'm like, how do you get
Yeah.
that back thing in there? It looks like you're picking your nose.
Yeah, the whole time.
And
It's
must
gotta
be
go. It's
Right,
uncomfortable.
exactly.
Yeah, Jennifer, question. None of us have nose rings. So if you blow your nose really hard, does that thing pop out?
No.
Okay, good.
Pop out.
Or does a little bit of, if you have a cold, does it come out the hole? You know what I'm saying? you guys?
Not
Yeah.
that big.
Like straining a noodle. I don't know. Okay, thanks, Jennifer. I appreciate that.
This was, yeah.
She's our nose ring expert now,
She
by
did.
the way.
It's got a quick
Exactly.
release.
It
I
really
had no
does.
idea.
I didn't
All
either.
good to go. And finally, hey, Kim, good morning.
Good morning.
Kim, this sounds like something that would happen in a Mr. Bean movie, but you got injured while smooching. What happened?
So I was in 8th grade on my parents' couch with my boyfriend doing a little makeout session, and I was a theater girl,
Oh.
so I
The best
threw my
kind.
head
Let's
back
go.
obviously. Threw my head back emphatically, like, or
Take me
something.
now, Romeo.
Right. And I smacked my head on the wall, and I must have hit it just right because a picture frame came flying down, caught me smack on the nose, and broke my nose.
Oh, my God.
And scene.
Yeah.
Ah.
And in 8th grade, I died.
Oh, no.
What
she
a
thought-
performance.
That is a
Wow.
Meryl Streep kiss if ever there
Yeah.
was one.
And you had to
Yeah.
explain what
I
happened to the
was
picture.
Oscar-worthy for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, my gosh. I love it, Kim. Well, are you everything healed up all right after that?
Yes, yeah. I mean, I survived. It healed. I had to go to school with a black eye and explain it, but,
Yeah. Your greatest
it was
role
all right.
ever. Your greatest role ever. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, for sure.
The Morning Mix Podcast.
All right, it's time to go to a wedding, y'all. We're going to get somebody hitched. And you get to that wedding and you're all excited. You're sitting there. You're all dressed up, which is always fun, you know. You're seeing all your friends. Everybody's dressed. We're ready to go. Family. Maybe it's your kids. And then they hit this song and everybody stands up and you turn around and there's a bride and she's coming down the aisle. Many people walk down the aisle now, they say, to different songs because people want, according to this survey, nearly 70% of people believe they need to have more custom things in the wedding so that it's custom to them.
And
right?
it's so much easier now, too.
Yes.
You can get any song it's
easy.
right there.
Right?
Yeah.
So what was the song, instead of this one, that you came down the aisle to? Hey, Katie, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
How are you today?
Oh, fabulous.
Now, I don't remember getting the invite, but had we been at your wedding, Katie, what song would we have heard you come down the aisle to?
You would have heard this is kind of tacky, but Train's Marry Me.
This is not tacky
Oh,
at
yeah.
all.
This is exactly
lovely.
why Pat Monahan wrote
Yes.
it. He's like, you know what? I'm going to make so much money off this song from people exactly like you.
Oh, here comes Katie.
I mean, I don't remember paying him, but yeah, we definitely used it.
This is nice.
People went out and bought the song after hearing it.
100%.
So
Sure.
somehow you still helped them
Can
out.
you imagine you're walking down the
But
aisle
then
and your
when we
uncle's
were
shazamming?
done,
What was that, Katie?
Right? But then when we were done, we walked back up to Journey's Don't Stop Believin'. because my
Oh,
husband's a White
okay.
Sox fan.
100%.
So you came down
So
to
we
Train.
bookended it.
I like
Right.
that.
I think it's perfect. That's like the rest of the journey
Right.
after the wedding is the Don't Stop
Exactly.
Believing part.
Were you by any chance
Exactly.
born and raised in South Detroit?
No, not quite. Northbrook.
Oh, okay. Close enough, though. Close enough.
That wouldn't have rhymed. That
What's
wouldn't
your
have
partner's
sounded
name,
right.
Katie? What's your partner's name?
Brian.
Brian? Ladies and
Brian,
gentlemen,
with a B.
I present to you Katie and Brian. Small town girl. Born and raised in Northbrook.
Yep. Alternate. Yeah.
Alternate universe
Yeah,
is
yeah.
what that was. Okay, so that's cute. They did Trains Marry Me. Let's take a whole different vibe. Hi, Mika. Good morning.
Morning.
Mika, I'm so excited for you. This is fantastic. What song? You didn't go traditional. What song did you walk down the aisle to, Mika?
Now That We Found Love by Heavy D.
Oh, that's great! Oh, what a jam!
Come
what a
on,
jam
this is
to walk
awesome.
down
Were
to.
people dancing as you were coming down the aisle?
I honestly probably, I'm mostly clapping,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, was there any grandmother rolling her eyes or anybody like that was like, oh, this isn't appropriate?
No, my grandparents are all cool. So.
Oh, hell yeah. I
That's
love that.
awesome.
All right, so Mika's got Heavy D coming down the aisle. I like it. All right, cool. So that one coming down the aisle with Mika. She's got Heavy D. Oh, wow. This is a deep cut. Hi, Sarah. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay. This might be the most unique song I've ever heard someone come down the aisle to at a wedding. Sarah, what song did you come down the aisle to?
It was Dearly Beloved from the Kingdom Hearts video game series.
Okay. Dearly Beloved from the Kingdom Hearts series video game, which is sort of like a Final Fantasy meets Disney video game.
Okay.
Where, like, you go through all the different Disney worlds, so to speak, and interact with all the different characters. Now, are you and your partner gamers?
No, my brother actually learned to play that music on the piano, and he kind of sped it up, slowed it down, and made it for me to walk down the aisle to.
That's
Oh.
awesome. What
It
a
is-
cool memory.
It's very pretty. Like, it's
Yeah.
not a, when your brain thinks
Yeah,
video game song. Yeah, no.
No, this is great. Okay, so we got Kingdom Hearts on the board. Nobody saw that one coming. Hey, Michelle. Good morning. How are you today?
Hi, good morning.
Michelle, you came down the aisle. You didn't use this traditional wedding march song. What song did you come down the aisle to?
I came down to God Only Knows by the Beach Boys.
Okay, that's
God
a
only
great
knows.
one.
Why
I'd
does
be
this
without
song
you.
make everybody cry?
Right?
Oh,
It's very
immediately.
heartfelt.
That's the point.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
what I mean.
That's
Great
right.
choice. Oh.
Oh, stop. Chris.
What? Is the bar open yet?
Wow.
God only knows. Beautiful.
Oh, wow.
That whole
Wow.
the whole place is a slobbery
Yeah,
mess. Yeah.
Totally. God only knows what I'd be.
This is actually the ringtone when Whip calls me.
I know,
my
and
phone,
I
yeah.
mean every word.
And it's
too.
weird because he calls me when I'm with him a lot, just to hear it, which I kind of like.
It's hard to say.
Right.
I like to
You hold it.
express
Yeah, you
it.
gotta-
It's just hard to say.
How else you get it out?
Yeah.
Hi, Melissa. Good morning. How are you today?
Hey, how are you?
We're great. Now, what song did you walk down the aisle to?
I walked down to Young and Beautiful by Lana Del Rey.
Lana Del Rey. Now, did you happen to see her at Lollapalooza when she was here?
No, I did not, unfortunately.
Fiddlesticks. Okay, so Lana Del Rey's Young and Beautiful from Melissa, which I feel like is a song not many people would know there. You know what I mean? So it's
Right.
got a nice vibe to it.
That's why it's unique to them.
Yeah. Hey, Trisha. Good morning.
Good morning.
Trisha, what song did you walk down the aisle to?
I walked down to a beautiful, classicalized version of Philip Phillips' Home.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah.
Because you felt like your heart was finally
Yeah.
at home.
Pretty much.
Oh, that's
where
awesome.
I am.
So it was an instrumental version because wherever that person is, Trisha, you're at home.
Trisha, who did you go home with?
Yeah, who'd you go home with?
Ryan.
Drop it. Pure emotion, he's never fake. Yeah. Guilty pleasure like stepping on a rake. He might even make your head shake. Here we go with hot take.
All right, so you may or may not know, I'm a coach of a 10-year-old baseball team. The other day, I'm headed over to the field with my wagon full of balls, nets, bats, etc. Between the car and the field, there's a sidewalk onto which I dropped my Costco brand bottle of water. Cheap little plastic bottle like this. It splatters all over the ground, spills my water all over the place, meaning that I'm just getting there and I'm going to have to go thirsty for the following 2+ hours in the hot sun.
No.
Well, it was either that or steal some water from the fancy, heavy, expensive titanium water bottle that my kid and all the other kids bring with them everywhere they go these days. School, the playground, all the other places where on a given day you might see 10 or 20 of them, slight exaggeration for effect, left behind because they brought them there, but that does not mean that they're going to remember to bring them home. Anyway, so these are my choices. Either die of thirst or steal water from a child. But why? Why am I faced with this dilemma? Well, because at this particular park, and like just about all, in my observation, the outdoor parks that I've attended over the past couple of years, and believe me, there have been many, there is not a public water fountain in sight. And my question is, why? When I was a kid, the water fountain was as much a given as the slides, the swings, the ball fields, the basketball courts, and the jungle gym, which I don't think exists anymore either. But, let's change that to the zip line or something. You get the point. It's that forcing everyone to walk around with their own water or, oops, too bad, you're going to be all dry and thirsty. That seems a little cruel and inhumane. But when and why did they take them all away in the first place? Frankly, if I think back to the water fountains of the parks of my youth, that was some of the best tasting water I've ever had in my life. It would hit the spot so much. You would stand there and you'd hog the thing for so long, the other kids would get mad and line up behind you because they loved it too. Sure, it might have been because our throats were as dry as super coarse grade sandpaper, but we loved it. And don't even get me started on how good hose water tasted, okay? So did they get rid of them because they're full of lead or unsanitary or something? I say, who cares? Kids aren't sanitary in the first damn place. You can take away their water fountains. They're over on the bench. They're going to wipe their boogers all over each other and drink out of each other's bottles with reckless abandon anyway. So the germs are being passed whether you like it or not. And in terms of what's in the water coming out of a fountain, I say slap a Brita filter on those bad boys and let them go to town. I fear, my friends, that it's actually a little more sinister than all that. My fear, although I cannot prove it, nor do I have one bit of evidence for it, is that the removal of the outdoor water fountains of America is a result of a high-level conspiracy between Big H2O, who force us to buy our Smart Waters and our Aquafinas and our Dasanis and our Poland Springs, which, by the way, are not made in Poland, and Big Metal, which produces those indestructible bottles that cost $35 and are constantly getting lost, stolen, and left behind. 3 of which are in my trunk right now from 2 years ago. I never figured out whose they were.
Come on.
Forcing us all to buy more. Get Big H2O and Big Metal to give little kickbacks to your local park district and get rid of your water fountains. And I have myself a nice little conspiracy theory there, even if you might think it's all wet.
Come on. Let's get a drink. Interesting.
Yeah, maybe they're around, but I swear I don't see them that often.
Yeah.
Almost ever. Inside, yes.
Sure.
You got where you can fill up the bottle.
Yeah.
They tell you how many you've saved, etc.
Yeah.
But outside, they're a dying breed.
I will tell you, and we've got them.
Yep.
But there's an issue with the one at our park we go to very often. It's near the sandbox.
Okay.
And kids are regularly rinsing their hands of sand in the water fountain.
Maybe that's the problem.
To the point that we were there once, and the Chicago Streets and Sand folks pulled like 18 metric feet of sand out of the pipe. It was gross.
Lord, maybe that's the issue.
But they are few and far between in general. A very interesting thing. I think you're onto something with big water there.
One park by us has them, one doesn't.
Yeah.
And I will say, I always feel kind of silly when I take the dog for a walk on a really hot day and I got to bring a water bottle.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I'm kind of like, this is, Beep is drinking like the finest
Right.
pure water.
That's right.
Of everything in your hot take today, which was spot on, but the carrying of the water bottle, we never had those. I mean,
No.
I remember having the little Gatorade squeezer, but it was because it fit on your bike.
Yeah.
Remember
Yeah.
the bike thing?
Right.
And I would fill it with Gatorade and then forget about it for 6 weeks, and then you'd go to open it. It was disgusting.
Yeah, in even the slightest bit of seriousness, like they all have those, no problem. They fill them. They're big, but they can run out. Like, so
Right.
sometimes if it's hot out there, whatever, they take some water, they will actually run out of water. Then you're like, well, I guess you just got to suffer till the end because
Right.
I don't have another option for you.
So our daughter just started pre-K. She's 4 years old, and on the back-to-school list was a water bottle.
Right.
And so my wife, it was very cute, went to a website where you can put a little emblem on the bottle, and it had her name on it, and then it was a mermaid unicorn on it.
Yep.
All excitement. Lasted a day. I haven't seen it since day one.
Totally. The lost and founds at
Yes.
schools are just like overflowing with those
Right.
things.
And then we email I'm like, do I email the teacher to say, have you seen the water bottle? That seems like a waste of that teacher's time. Like, it's in the school somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's all in there.
Yeah, then you get it back. Do you really want it?
Is that really what you
Right,
want?
so many are similar.
Right.
It's not even that people are taking it on purpose. They're probably just taking one that looks like theirs.
Yeah.
Testing 1 2 1 2.
Sound check. Sound check. This is Nikki's Sound Check on the Morning Mix.
So it's funny, you said like, oh, it's going to be so different than Metallica. Here's Taylor Swift. Actually, that's who we're talking about, Taylor Swift and Metallica. Now, here's what it is. So Ed Sheeran, he played in Soldier Field, and he sold more tickets than Taylor because of the way the space was, right? So he
Yeah.
beat her attendance record.
Okay.
Also did it in Seattle. Well, Metallica just beat Taylor's attendance record in L.A. So
Really?
same thing, 78,000 fans. And the whole way that happens is what you mentioned earlier. It's a snake pit. So it's
snake
like
pit.
this area kind of around the stage.
Yeah.
It opens up a lot of ground space, like
Yeah.
right down there. And what's funny, totally side note. So there's someone I'm friends with on Facebook, like loose friends. I haven't seen him in a long time,
James
whatever.
Hetfield?
No.
Oh.
But I know he's like a big Metallica fan. He goes
Yeah.
to all the shows. And he was in the snake pit. So I'm looking through his
Wow.
pictures. And I'm like, is that Jason Momoa? Like rocking down there super sweaty? And it was, in fact, Jason Momoa.
What?
So not only was it attendance record broken by Metallica, but yeah, like Momoa, and because he went on to kind of
Yeah.
retweet and repost that
Oh,
that he was down there like having the time of his life in the snake pit.
So
Unreal.
I just yesterday, Metallica posted a video on Instagram. Somebody on their team or whatever.
Yeah.
They walk around the upper bowl with passes to the snake pit. And so they walk up to the fans that are up there. But the premise of the video is the person with the camera just walks with their hand out holding these green wristbands.
Which is great.
And they just quietly walk by people and they wait for someone to stop them and grab them. And then the video is all about how excited people get. So they're kind of doing the Elton John or the Billy Joel thing.
Billy
of,
Joel, yep.
We're going to go to the back row and bring you up to the
Yeah.
front. And all of these people, and it's LA, they were all like, oh my God, we're going to the snake pit. Yeah, rock on. It was
Okay.
crazy. And I would be like, I'm scared. You can keep them.
Right, yeah, definitely takes a certain kind of person.
I got the tickets up here so I could get snacks. And
Right.
I'm a little nervous.
Momoa worked down there. I'm
Right.
just going to say.
That's
and
good.
he was
Yeah.
fine. He was fine in the snake pit.
One of the guys that took the snake pit tickets, though, he had on flip-flops. And I was like,
No.
you ain't
That's-
ready.
That's not going to
Bad
fare well.
choice.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, very cool. Another record beaten by Taylor with attendance there by Metallica in L.A. And then Miley Cyrus, she's been, tripling down, doubling down, multiple statements now about why she doesn't want to tour, right? So to paraphrase, it's basically like she doesn't like going from 0 to 60 every single day, which completely makes sense.
Totally.
You want to give it your all, 90 minutes of a show, and you're like, ramping yourself up. You give all that 90 minutes, and you come down. And she was saying, like, she really has a hard time coming down from all of
Yeah.
it. That's
Yeah.
one of the hardest parts of all this. So
Yeah.
she doesn't want to tour. But to me, all I'm reading between the lines here, Super Bowl halftime.
Super Bowl.
I'm just saying,
my
I really
God.
feel like we're setting this up. I believe everything she's saying. Totally. She doesn't like touring. She did it. She's been there.
Yeah.
It is hard to go back and forth. But I really feel like this is setting up a possible stage where you can't see her on tour, but you could see her on the halftime show.
I love that.
for
That
the
would be
NFL.
great.
Yeah.
She was phenomenal at Lollapalooza a few years ago. I was blown away. I kind of went in with no expectation, and I was really, really blown away.
She's great, and like we said, she just has such a she can bring her dad. She got
Yeah.
Billy Ray, and then you got Dolly Parton, her like godmother. So
Yeah,
there's like it
that's
could
a
be
good
a whole
point.
family thing that's all kind of genres. You know,
She can do anything. When you hop off a plane with a dream and a cardigan, forget about it.
there you go.
Totally true.
And speaking of NFL, so Monday Night Football, a lot of times they team up with different artists and they do kind of, it's like they're the DJs, they're the musical coordinators for it. This year they are teaming up with Timbaland and Justin Timberlake.
Okay.
Hey now.
So that has just been announced, and it just so happens they have a new song, and Timbaland's been posting like little droplets kind of it.
Droplets?
Droplets.
Droplets. Droplets? Droplets.
So yeah,
A little sneak peek on that.
They say music and football go hand in hand, and they're the perfect collaboration to work on this. In the past, they've had Diplo, DJ Khaled, Drake, Marshmello. So this year, expect lots of stuff from Timbaland and Timberlake, and then new song this Friday from Timbaland, Timberlake, Furtado. Is it like TFT?
Yeah.
Timberland, Furtado, Timberlake, TTF?
Well, if you go with Nelly, then you could have TNT.
Oh,
Timberlake,
they should.
Nelly.
There we
They
go.
should.
There we go.
The Morning Mix Flash Briefing with
Chris, to begin today, we look toward late night because did you know the late night hosts are joining forces?
This is awesome.
Isn't this cool?
Yes.
Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Fallon, and Jimmy Kimmel are joining together to create a strike-focused podcast. So the three of them, including Seth Meyers and John Oliver, are joining forces for a new limited podcast called The Strike Force 5. Spotify announced this yesterday. The podcast will share once private conversations between these late-night hosts who all began meeting weekly in May when the WGA Writers Guild of America strike began to discuss the complexities behind the ongoing Hollywood strikes. So this will be sort of introspective and fun at the same time.
Well, and the coolest part about, it's a podcast, blah, blah, blah. We hear all about it. But the money, they're raising money to go pay for those writers who aren't getting paid right
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
The proceeds generated by the podcast will go to the out-of-work staff on their shows. So Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, Seth Meyers, and John Oliver all together on the Strike Force 5, and that will be coming to you soon. Available there on Spotify. So keep your eyes out for that.
I wonder if radio people
And
could ever
that's,
do that.
Yeah, I don't
Probably
know. But, hey, all right, we're the Strike Force 3. Here we are.
Sounds like it exists already.
It might, actually. Now, before we get into this next story, I would like to set the scene for you because we are going to spend a little bit of time here on the other side of the pond.
Big pond.
Dolly Parton. That's right, as we continue our flash briefing. Dolly Parton was invited to have tea with the Princess of Wales, Kate Middleton, during a recent trip to London. So Kate Middleton and Dolly Parton were supposed to have tea, and unfortunately, I had to decline that invitation. Why? Well, I felt so bad I couldn't even go. My team had all this stuff set up. And also, she wasn't going to let me promote my new rock album.
Oh.
So Dolly Parton
Yeah.
declined having tea with Kate Middleton.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we have that going for us. And to keep our eyes, our last story here in your Morning Mix Flash Briefing, toward The Crown, Suits creators, the people who created that show Suits, which is now blown up on Netflix.
Sure.
It was once on USA Network and did fine, and it's a few years old. Meghan Markle got her start on that
Yeah.
show. They say there was an episode with Meghan Markle where they had written a line and she was supposed to say the word poppycock. And unfortunately, the royal family put the kibosh on the poppycock. Meghan Markle was not allowed as a character on the show to use the word poppycock because the Crown said, no, we don't want her to say poppycock on the show.
That's when it started to fall apart.
And that's
right
it.
there, man.
That's the beginning. They didn't want to put the word poppycock in her mouth. I presume because they didn't want people. This is a direct quote.
No, that should just be the punchline of the story.
So we had to change it to BS. They were fine putting BS in her mouth, but not the poppycock.
Oh, my God.
That's the quote. And that, my friends, is your Morning Mix Flash Briefing. All right, thank you for joining us for the Morning Mix Podcast. Make sure you rate, review, like, and follow this podcast. You can also follow us on social at 1019 Mix Chicago. And we will see you tomorrow on the Morning Mix.